Hey everyone, how's it going? This is Danish here. This is Abbas.
Hello there.
I last night checked out something I've been waiting for forever, which is Final Cut Pro on an iPad.
Okay. We've been waiting for this for some time.
I have
now,
been waiting
haven't
for
we?
this forever.
I think ever since Apple switched the iPad to M-series processors,
Yeah.
we knew that the iPad was Final Cut Pro was coming. Yeah.
It had to be the next step for them. It only made sense. Funny enough, it's got a bit of good, it's got a bit of bad. So kind of let's check that whole thing out.
I'm glad you were waiting for it because I stopped that 2 years ago. Moved on to different directions. But all right, so now that you've had a little bit of time to play with it, tell us a little bit about it.
Okay, so first thing, you have to have an M1 or an M2 iPad.
Okay.
So that only includes the Pros.
Right.
As well as
the Air.
Which is what I'm using this
Very
on right
interesting.
now.
Very interesting.
The Air,
I would have thought that they wouldn't bring it on the Air just because it's a Pro.
Exactly what I thought, but I think they couldn't limit it because they advertise the Air like that so much that, affordable option, Pro features, etc. So from that perspective, I think they had to. It is a subscription model, so I actually, funny enough, thought I was lucky. I saw an already subscribed button. I was like, oh yeah, I'm already subscribed. I clicked on it and they're like, no, you don't have one. So if you have a PC subscription or a Mac subscription, it makes no difference. You have to subscribe here.
Is this the first app from Apple that's subscription based? I mean, yes, we've got iCloud subscription, Apple TV subscription, but as far as an app is concerned,
so I
can't think of anything else.
I can't think of anything else either. I was actually surprised. I thought maybe Apple One would have some benefits. Apple One, but no, maybe not yet. Possibly. You know how they have for education, they have a bundle discount?
Right.
Maybe at some point that happens because, again, we're talking about Final Cut, but Logic Pro has come as well.
Right. That's
so maybe that's something that they'll figure out in time.
Okay.
And this whole business of figuring out in time is a theme which we'll get into in a minute. So one of the first things I noticed as soon as I kind of got into the app was how touch intuitive it was. And that's something they promised right from the trailer, that it's going to be completely re-engineered for touch.
Okay.
And right from the get-go. Now, this is a little project that I created yesterday, right?
This does look a bit like Final Cut.
Exactly. So it does, but also it doesn't, in the sense that you can notice a lot of space between everything.
Of course.
So all the tabs everywhere, there's space, there's touch-enabled space. It's all big and large and easy to touch, and with the pencil it's even more precise. So even like changing something like the clip size is very, very intuitive. So that's the first thing I noticed, and I didn't just notice it because it's enabled, but also because if I click here, for example, you've got something called the jogger, right? Now the jogger has this sort of scrolling wheel for one hand.
So it's more precise.
But on the other hand, this is on the left side. So if I have this track and I want to increase the volume, I can do that and jog through it as well. So it's sort of meant for that hold and kind of multi-touch movability. That just like, because I think that's what they want to enable, right? They want to enable editing on the move. Now, that being said, they've not removed shortcuts. So you attach a keyboard and you've got not all, but most of the shortcuts as well. But I think that from a touch perspective, it was just very intuitive. And if you're used to, let's say, adapting to a touch environment, I'm used to using CapCut. I've used all these other apps which are touch. And I'm just so used to that for me, this merge was very, very easy.
So one of the things that Apple could have played because they're Apple is that, for example, you just mentioned the keyboard cover, right? With the trackpad and stuff, the newer ones. They could have just somehow tightened the interface together, because now that you've got a trackpad which is a lot more precise, that doesn't happen, I'm assuming.
So I think that they've left it sort of up to you. So what I've done here is based on sort of my needs and my requirements, right? But you can adjust this as much as you want.
But that was on your desktop, Mac desktop.
My point being that I think they've just left that as it is for people to adjust. Now, another thing that they've sort of, which is an iPad only feature, is this business of writing. So you can sort of create little animations, right? And if I create this right now and then I click OK, it'll just show up here as a live drawing if you look at the preview.
Right, yeah.
You know,
so
as I drew it, it was there. So that is another iPad thing. But apart from that, if you go into sort of each clip and you want to inspect it, edit it, you want to transform it, all those options are there. Even voice isolation and stuff which just came to Mac are still there. That being said, a lot is still missing in the sense that you are missing out on, for example, you can't create events over here. It's all just one project. There's no folders. There's no usage of SSDs. So that means people
external storage.
Exactly. So you can't even edit off external storage. You have to transfer it all here and all back.
So let me ask you, like this project that you have, like what was the size of this project in in GBs and gigabytes? I mean, what are we looking at?
This one I don't know actually.
But I mean, okay, so on an average general project like that.
On an average general project, here this is right now a small little social media video is 1 GB.
Over a GB for just a small.
Just a small one. This is what this is 20 seconds, and I've barely done anything to the files. But
so folks, don't pick up the 64 GB Air to run Final Cut.
100%. Do not. If you're looking for a cheaper model, definitely go for 256 minimum. And I would suggest that even for pros, just stick with 256 minimum. Definitely. But apart from that, like I said, touch was the focus here. Another thing they added was this pro camera, right? Okay. So now you can record directly off it with pro features such as focus. Again, they've enabled touch on both sides. So you've got your exposure controls, you can change your white balance, and then you've got a slow-mo dedicated mode as well with possibility to change autofocus and all your settings over there. So
it's not quite Final Cut on the Mac as we know it.
It's not.
Yeah.
I think that what's going to kind of happen in time is this is going to become a step in the editing process.
Right.
So my larger project is at home on my laptop or on my Mac, and I want to edit a particular file. Because of now I'm not going to count the SSDs part, but basically if I have the file here, I can work on that particular file. Let's say certain bits of my video need animation. I can work on that animation here while I'm on the move. And then when I'm back, it's ready for me to export. Because a good and a bad thing about this is that you can export to Final Cut on the Mac, but you can't export from Final Cut on the Mac.
So the project that if you edit on Mac, that's it. You can't bring it back.
So as of now, you see these very, very clear clues that they either want it to be something where an amateur like me finds it okay, or a professional uses it on the side.
So, I'll pause you there for a minute. Why call it Final Cut Pro when you can't have Final Cut Pro sort of working together?
My theory is that it will be in time.
So if I am reading the tea leaves, are we expecting a touchscreen Mac anytime soon?
So that could point towards one thing, but knowing Apple...
Because I mean, it looks like they've put in a lot of effort into the touch aspect of it, right? From what you're showing me. So is it going to be like it doesn't make sense to have two completely separate builds of the same app for a Mac and for an iPad, considering they share the same silicon now.
But see, that's the thing, right? That's since the conversation of the M series has come out, that's what all of us have been discussing. Is that what's happening? Is that the merger that's going to take place?
Yeah.
There's no way to really know. On the other hand, we've got
Apple
rumors.
says best tool for the job.
On the other hand, we've got AR coming up as per rumors.
Yes, that's right.
So how is that going to merge into it? You know, I think it's more of a offering on another platform. I think that's what it is. Plus, don't forget, this is also a second revenue stream for Final Cut Pro.
That's true. Yeah? That is true with the whole subscription model. I think as far as the external storage is concerned, with WWDC around the corner, there's a good chance the iPad OS will get upgraded to support that.
Even if not, it'll be something like maybe end of the year or something like that. Listen, Apple is not stupid. If we know these things less than 1 day after, they obviously know everything that the people are going to want and request. Because don't forget, they've got competition. LumaFusion has been here as the premium iPad editing tool for a long time. DaVinci Resolve is now and already is being called more pro than this.
That is true.
So they know what they're kind of aiming at, and I think that they'll figure it out.
It's interesting because now you've got the iPad sort of very much moving into a pro device.
Yeah.
Even though iPad Pro has been around for a while. But we kind of see it finally.
Definitely. Like it today, if I was for photos, for videos, general editing on the move, the Pro is a substantial device, and it's a long-term investment. It's not a short-term investment either. So I think that this Final Cut kind of proves that more and more. But as far as this current iteration is concerned, I only see two uses for it. One, for amateurs like me, or two, for professionals who need some work done a bit on the move. But
Gotcha.
moving your entire workflow, that's not happening
That's not
right
happening with that. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Thanks very much for that update.
now. All right.
And please, if you like this video, please do hit that like button and subscribe to the channel.